Tana Mongeau reveals the truth behind her MTV show, and Shane Dawson exposes more concerns about Dasani. Welcome to Reality, a segment where we report on multiple stories in a single video. Before I get into the stories, I just want to put out a disclaimer. Please do not send any hate to Tana Mongeau, Shane Dawson, Dasani, or anyone else involved in these stories. This video is simply meant to report on the news. Tana Mongeau finally addressed the drama surrounding her MTV reality show. As you may know, Tana recently faced controversy when her MTV show, MTV No Filter Tana Mongeau, showed Tana appearing to not take her asthma diagnosis seriously. It also showed her treating her manager, Jordan Warona, poorly. If you want to learn more about the previous controversy, you can watch our other video on the situation. On March 31st, Tana uploaded a YouTube video titled "Letting You In on the Truth About MTV, Depression, and a Life Update." In the video, she spoke about her lifelong struggle with depression and what was going on behind the scenes when she filmed the most recent season of her show. Tana said 2019 was the worst year of her life.
And I think by the end of 2019, I just had beaten myself up in every possible way to the point that I wasn't even a person and I was fully at rock bottom and I wanted to die. I did not want to live in every sense of that. And I was doing so many things that would have killed me if I didn't stop. I got to a point where I didn't care about living at all. And I think it was a culmination, don't get me wrong, of my entire 21 years of life.
She explained the struggles she dealt with in her past.
My childhood was just the worst thing on earth. And I'm very lucky to have gotten out of that. But obviously, I spent 15 years of my life being so incredibly emotionally abused and physically abused and mentally abused and just tormented. And I was raising myself all of those years. And I built up so much hatred for my parents and so much anger for the entire life that they've given me.
Tana said that once she started gaining success on YouTube, she bottled up everything she was feeling.
I spent the next 6 years, 5.5 years really, just continuing to bottle in any emotional pain that I could, while I was also just snowballing into a bigger and bigger point of fame. And months before I started my YouTube channel, my best friend died, and I was spending the days filming and the nights just staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what I feel bottling in the depression.
She also said she struggled with numbing her pain.
Ever since I was 15 years old, I've been struggling with numbing things out with anything. I mean, I've been smoking weed since I was literally 13 years old. It wasn't until I was 20 that I kind of realized, wow, I've been numbing out everything I felt in the first half of my life in these last 5 years.
She explained how reality shows were edited.
If I wanted the show to be edited the way that I edit my YouTube videos or the way that I would edit it, I wouldn't be doing this show with MTV. That's the point. I let them come film me. They edit it how they edit their fucking reality shows and shit. And sometimes things might be a little cringier than I would have edited them. Or sometimes they make things look really set up in that MTV corny reality show way. Or sometimes things are dramatized, or they use a clip of me yelling at Jordan to fucking someone else so I look like a and oh my god, it's a reality show, whatever. And I thought I could handle that to an extent.
Tana said she was in a different place mentally when she agreed to do another season of her MTV show.
And after shooting season 1, right after it aired, I ended up agreeing to do a season 2 in the next 6 months or so. And when I agreed to that and signed that paperwork, I really didn't think I would decline overall as a person, my health overall, as much as I did. And I think that MTV obviously kind of saw that happen. I think they were kind of waiting around for Jake and I's conclusion, if we were gonna break up or stay together, what was gonna happen, for them to start filming season 2. I know that I should have stopped after the holiday special, because at that time I was already so depressed from the Jake shit, the Big Bear shit, the Alyssa shit, everything. And I don't blame Jake at all. I don't blame anyone at all.
She described the deep depression she was in.
I look back now and I realize I just wanted to be sad. Not necessarily wanted, but it's all I could do. And I was just getting more and more and more and more depressed. And when I get really depressed, I shut down completely. There's nothing anyone can say to me that is going to get me out of it. I stopped getting out of bed for days. I literally stopped going to the bathroom. I hold my pee and will literally lay there in bed for days until I'm struggling. That's how depressive I get. It's everything, my body just can't do it. And this level of depression was so different than anything I'd ever felt in my life.
Tana said she and Jordan had spoken with MTV many times about what she wanted the season to look like.
And then MTV was like, hey, we want to shoot this season right now and you have to. I was having a lot of conversations with my friends and with Jordan and with MTV at the time. It was like, the only way I can stomach filming this season is if it's brutally honest, which now I just like hate saying out loud. And if me struggling mentally and physically is filmed, I'm fine with showing that to the world if there is a message behind it, if there's a greater good behind it, if we can help people with that. I verbatim sat down with Jordan and MTV and had these conversations, and we all kind of came to the conclusion that that's what season 2 would kind of be about.
And she said she thought MTV was putting her and her friends in situations to make the story look more dramatic.
And I mean, I think MTV, they like the drama. They know how to, give us call times that make us really tired and give us phone calls and meetings that make us really stressed and, have the producers whisper little things to us that make us like bicker,
Tana also explained the truth behind the asthma storyline.
And then as my health was declining, I was seeing online doctors and had been looking into my symptoms, and everyone in my life that were doctors or, had family members that were doctors or were close to me or were looking out or whatever, all of the symptoms of everything I had was really shitty stuff. And after researching for a while, there was a point where I literally thought that what was wrong with me, and after seeing like urgent cares and doctors and online doctors, that I thought what was gonna end up being wrong with me was something like tuberculosis or lung cancer or just lifelong really bad lung issues. I was dreading it and dreading it and dreading it. And finally MTV was like, we want you to go see this specialist for the show. You can continue to take care of your health, off the record. I'm like, okay. And so they make the appointment, and we're shooting this on day 6, hour 100 of shooting the show. I'm as miserable as I possibly can be. I'm exhausted. And throughout this whole episode, I'm still saying to Jordan, he's like, why don't you care about your health? And I'm like, it's not that I don't care. It's just that I'm so depressed. I don't care about anything. I want to die. And then it's him being like, well, you have to care. And it's me being like, I know, but I just can't. Everything I said in that car ride was about the mental health of it all.
And she explained how MTV edited her reaction to her asthma treatment.
Jordan and I were like sarcastically bickering in the beginning, and then obviously, and I blame myself for even like being in such a mindset to just film like that and not even think about what MTV would do with it. But then it's like there are definitely a few clips that I'm saying something rude to Jordan, and it kind of looks like I'm saying it to the doctor. And so then I come home to my friends who have been waiting for like 10 hours to shoot this one scene. MTV building them up all day, telling them like, what if Tana has lung cancer? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? And then I find out I have asthma, which I just want to say right now is a very serious thing. And in the show, I said that so many times shooting the show that day. Like, I think asthma is so serious. It's not that I think this is something to take lightly. It's just like when you think you might die this year of lung cancer and now you have something a little more manageable, there's a weight lifted. And it was just edited to make it seem like everyone in my life just like doesn't care about my health or me or the world's health or asthma like at all. And now we've all been getting like thousands of tweets about how we like all don't care, and that's like not it at all. And so then I ended up doing the inhaler for 10 days, and MTV kind of took a bunch of clips of me making jokes about not doing it and all that kind of stuff and like put it all together or whatever. I ended up doing it.
She described how she started to take care of herself.
So I got this apartment in Hollywood, and originally for a week to just work out every day, to go cold turkey on all drugs, to get sober, to smoke things without tobacco and fix my lungs and smoke less and start taking vitamins and medicine and sleeping there as much as I can and just, working on only things that I was passionate about. By the end of shooting season 2, it's just like, I was very much like, why did you do this to yourself? Had you spent the last 6 months wanting to get better like you do now and just shooting YouTube content, you'd be so much better off. I'd like let this thing that I originally wanted to do and was so good, like almost kill me. So I got this apartment in Hollywood, and I woke up day 1 in it and was like, this is the day I'm gonna change my life. And that was kind of when I started to realize I'm the only person that can change my life. I'm the only person that can make me better.
She said that despite how the show portrayed them, she and Jordan are extremely close, and she credits him with keeping her alive.
And then obviously I went to Jordan and we worked out our entire relationship, and I apologized to him for everything I've ever needed to apologize to him for in the last 5 years. And he did the same to me, and we both realized that like the methods we were going about about things with each other and like arguing and stuff were so outdated, and we both got so far from understanding each other to a point of both of us just being so selfish and angry that the other person couldn't see our side. And we both came to the conclusion that like MTV put us under a crazy amount of pressure, probably to make us fight, to probably make the season go the way it's going. Now we are like the strongest we've ever been. I've never felt so close to Jordan in my entire life, and I genuinely feel like I will never fight with him again.
Tana said the show didn't accurately represent who she is.
I know the type of person I am to the people every single day in my life, and people that I talk to randomly and just in general. But even beyond that, like, I just think that life is about being a good ass, nice person. I hate that I filmed the show at such a bad time when I wasn't being nice all the time to Jordan. I hate who I was at that time shooting the show. I wish that footage wasn't out there. I wish I didn't even give anyone the opportunity to like edit me like that. But I know the kind of person I am, and I know who I am now, and I know I will never, ever, ever get back to a place that dark.
And she explained what happened when she got a proper diagnosis for her cough after she decided to take care of herself.
I found out that I didn't even have asthma, and what was wrong with me was like a lifelong sinus infection, basically, from my parents never dealing with my nose problems and my nose bleeding every day. The way my blood vessels like are all here through the middle of my nose, which gives me like a permanent sinus infection, which makes my eyes swell. It makes my lungs fill with phlegm to the point that I like can't breathe, and then like gives me like an asthma-like thing that like is debilitating, and like that can kill you because you can drown out your own lungs. So then I started doing everything I could every single day to try to fix that, like taking all these sinus medicines, doing things to train my lungs back up to working again, not smoking things that hurt my lungs.
As we can see, there was a lot more going on behind the scenes that we couldn't see in the show. MTV didn't put words in Tana's mouth, and Tana isn't denying that she said what she said, but a lot of important context was missing. While it's easy for us to judge people's actions on reality shows, and it's something we've all done, it's also important to remember that we're only seeing a highly edited version of that person, and there's often a lot left out of the final episode. Will you watch Tana's reality show going forward? Shane Dawson exposed Dasani, and fans were shocked. On April 14th, Shane uploaded a video investigating theories about popular brands. One theory about the bottled water brand Dasani caught a lot of attention. In fact, it was trending on Twitter the day of the upload. In the video, Shane addressed the common concerns about Dasani: pH levels, possible carbonation, extra ingredients, marketing tactics. In summary, Dasani's pH level is around 5 to 6, meaning it's acidic. Dasani also claims it's not carbonated, but it fizzes upon opening and leaves bubbles in the water. It also causes burping. Unlike most bottled waters, Dasani contains 3 extra ingredients: magnesium sulfate, potassium chloride, and salt. They claim the added ingredients enhance the taste, but Shane pointed out that many people dislike it. Shane implied that Dasani's extra ingredients are a clever marketing ploy. Allegedly, the magnesium sulfate and the salt make you feel more thirsty, so you continue buying more water, an endless spending cycle. Of course, all this research shocked many people. Jeffree Star also chimed in and said, "Sorry, no Dasani in this house." One tweet that caught Shane's attention said, "Dasani water is actually banned in the UK. Well, it's not allowed to be sold in our shops." Shane replied, "I know. I had that in the video, but I took it out because I felt like I was dragging Miss Dasana a little too much, haha." But is Dasani water really that bad? What's the truth behind the extra ingredients? And why was it allegedly banned in the UK? The truth is, Dasani was never banned from the UK. According to a 2004 statement from Dasani's parent company, Coca-Cola, "We have not been ordered to withdraw the product. It was our decision because it did not meet regulations. To ensure that only products of the highest quality are provided to our consumers, Coca-Cola is voluntarily withdrawing all Dasani products currently in the marketplace in UK." The reason it did not meet UK regulations at the time was because the bottled water was accidentally contaminated with bromate, a cancer-causing chemical. Coca-Cola explained bromate was accidentally introduced when adding in calcium chloride. Calcium is a legal requirement in all bottled water products in the UK, including Dasani. To deliver the required calcium, we add back calcium chloride into the product. The high level of bromide contained in the calcium chloride, a derivative of bromide, bromate, was formed at a level that exceeded UK legal standards. This occurred during the ozonization process we employ in manufacturing. In other words, Dasani doesn't usually add calcium chloride into their water, so you don't have to worry about bromate in Dasani in America. Another reason Dasani failed in the UK was because their tap water is already very clean and safe for people to drink. So, when Dasani was introduced, UK citizens felt it was a scam to pay more for clean tap water that is readily available in their homes. What about the extra ingredients in Dasani? In Shane's video, magnesium sulfate was described as a drying agent and potassium chloride was described as a mineral that is commonly used in fertilizers and in lethal injection procedures, and salt was described as a thirst-quenching additive. Let's start off with magnesium sulfate. It can be used as a drying agent, but it's not as scary as you might think. According to a paper from the US National Library of Medicine, drying agents such as magnesium sulfate are used to remove pesticide residues from non-fatty foods. However, that's not what Dasani needed the magnesium sulfate for. In the food industry, the mineral serves a different purpose. According to a 2007 assessment by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, magnesium sulfate is used as a flavor enhancer in bottled water in the USA. It's also used in a variety of other foods, such as a firming agent in soybean curd in Japan, a fermentation aid in the processing of beer and malt beverages. What about the claims about potassium chloride used in fertilizer and in lethal injections? According to Cargill, fertilizers contain potassium chloride because, like humans and many other living organisms, plants also need potassium to flourish. And that might be a reason why Dasani includes potassium chloride because of the potassium enrichment, which the average adult should be consuming about 4,700 milligrams per day. What about the lethal injections? According to BBC News, potassium is the third step to stop the heart in a lethal injection procedure. It disrupts the delicate balance of sodium and potassium ions that keep the heart beating. The inmate's heart would begin beating irregularly and then stop. However, it's important to note that the dosage of potassium chloride is probably much higher in lethal injection procedures than in bottled water. In fact, potassium chloride produces potassium, and according to Cleveland Clinic, an excess of potassium in your blood can have serious side effects. These side effects can progress to paralysis and an irregular heartbeat. Furthermore, it's not the only drug used during the lethal injection procedure. A medication known as midazolam is also added. Midazolam knocks you unconscious and suppresses your breathing, so naturally, your body would already be in a fragile state. In the food industry, the FDA recognizes potassium chloride as safe to consume. It's often used as a salt substitute and a potassium supplement. Common foods with potassium chloride are baby formulas, cereals, frozen entrees, meats, snack foods such as chips or crisps, sports electrolyte drinks, soups, sauces, snack meal bars. So, what does it mean when it's in bottled water? Bob Mahler, a soil science and water quality professor at the University of Idaho, explained, if you had pure water by itself, it doesn't have any taste. So companies that sell bottled water will put in calcium, magnesium, or maybe a little bit of salt. Marion Nestle, a nutrition, food studies, public health, and sociology professor at New York University, said, the additives being put into water are those naturally found in water, and the quantities of these additives are likely too small to be of much significance. Taste tests have revealed that many people find distilled water to taste flat, as opposed to spring waters, which can taste a bit sweet. Minerals offer a slightly salty or bitter flavors. In other words, Dasani adds minerals to change the flavor to a slightly salty or bitter taste. And lastly, the final ingredient in Dasani is salt. Just like the other two ingredients, Dasani claims salt is also a flavor enhancer, which is likely to be true because there's not enough salt in the bottle to really dehydrate you, and there are people that enjoy the taste of Dasani water. Furthermore, salt isn't something we should necessarily be scared of. According to Dr. Anthony Komaroff from Harvard Health, you need to have enough sodium in your diet each day to keep up with the sodium you lose in your urine and sweat. It's recommended that most adults ages 50 or younger have no more than 2,300 milligrams per day of sodium. Perhaps the most scary thing about Dasani water is actually the pH level. As Shane mentioned in his video, Dasani is considered acidic, but what does this mean for our health? According to Dr. Robert Ashley, the danger of more acidic water, when the pH is less than 6.5, is that it can leach metals from the well and from the pipes that bring you water. These metals include lead, manganese, copper, and iron, and they can be toxic in large amounts, so acidic water obviously poses a health risk. Overall, the extra ingredients aren't as scary as you might think. They serve different purposes in different settings, and they have different effects when taken in certain dosages. Instead, it's probably better if you turn your attention to the pH levels of different bottled waters and do your research before purchasing. Have you reconsidered drinking Dasani water after Shane's video? What do you think about these stories? Let me know in the comments below.